So I'm back at it. I continued until this morning, till 7 o'clock this morning, trying everything to make this stuff work and redoing all my code. Like I don't know how many times, or all my code, the shape code, etc. All that's the shape and the tile and the drawCanvas, etc. to change everything. My shape methods now look like this. Pretty fancy, but yeah, I tried to make it work with the shape config, with the sizes and then the transformations. But yeah, all this because I was at a point where everything worked. I got the tile highlight. I could retrieve the info from there with the objects, etc. And yeah, I was at a point where I especially just had to add a unit to the tile, initialize an array and just render them relative to the tiles. The problem is that the way I got everything to work was, like I said before, brute forcing every shape and make it transform based on the row and column properties, so that yeah, this whole and every shape included was just being transformed as a whole. The problem with it is that I couldn't, yeah, which worked fine, except that I wanted to add this unit that I wanted to make relative to the tiles, which didn't work. And everything that I tried now was to make this more modular, more separated with the shape convert, etc. Except that the way I have it now, that here in shape config, that my shapes are based, the coordinates of my shapes are based on points in space that need to be transformed when I apply the transformation to make the board represented on the screen. And I had a very smart idea that when I created it, like I said, it was the most beginning of the beginning when I started to make this, like ages ago. And I had the smart idea to make the transformation that happens when I iterate through the rows and the columns to change those X, Y, and Y loops. So in fact, the X and Y position get transformed, and then that is used in every shape. And that worked pretty fine when I transformed the whole class, but not when I want to take out this logic. So they are dependent on the row and the column argument. Otherwise they don't get transformed. And so I could have circumvented that by making a unit, instead of making it the place where it's drawn on the screen, instead of trying to make it relative to the tile, or make it relative but being only be able to be placed on the board and needing the row and column arguments to be drawn. So that would mean I could only draw them relative to the board, but that meant also because this was before I separated these two classes, with all the measurements and the other one with just the shapes. The whole board shape class took the row and column argument and to do that transformation. But I already knew that I wanted to be able to initiate a unit, not just to have a visual representation of it elsewhere, but I need to be able to initialize it in a list without having a row and column assigned to it, because it's not placed on the board. So even if I could circumvent the drawing and just don't make it relative to the tiles, just give it an absolute position or absolute relative to the entire board like the tiles, I can't initialize it with a row column argument if it's not on the board. So, and probably there's all kinds of fancy I could have probably found out some way to hack around that. I don't know, but that's not what I wanted. I was certain of it. So the whole process of just trying to add a unit in my new logic and then add a unit, which seemed simple, forced me to go over and over of my code and try to make it work in a way that respects the design principles. And so I got lost besides in this, in how to draw them on the render class, etc., etc., etc. I put in the objects on the tiles, the shape object on the tiles, and I took them out. I did all kinds of things. And in the end, I think I'm on the right track to make it more modular. But the problem now is that I cannot give a value to these vertex coordinates, because those depend on where they are on the board, where they are in the array, but also on this transform method. And I want to transform them before they get drawn. But the value of these vertices here depends on having the transformation already done. Otherwise, they don't have any value. So now, yeah, and because all my shapes are based on what I thought was very smart on these vertices values, they just don't get initialized, because I cannot, for the life of it, and I broke my head over it last night, I cannot make a right order to do that. It's impossible. I realize now that it's impossible. So and this was actually probably the last important class that I didn't really touch yet. I did the first, and so it's kind of my darling. It's, I think, yeah, it works, and it's a long time ago. Half know why it works, how it works, and this whole process forced me on all kinds of other parts of my code to go through it, try this, try that, and come to the conclusion that the whole thing is wrong. That I have to kill this darling, which is always a hard conclusion to come by. It took me days and days I don't even remember when I had everything working, if it was 2 days, 1 day ago, 2 days ago. But since then, I have been, trying to keep what I had, save my darling, and try to do all kinds of things around it, smart things to make it work like the way it is. And separating these classes, taking out the objects on the array, on the tile objects again, finding out the right way to pass the instance of this where the vertices are transformed, etc. But yeah, I'm coming to the conclusion last night and this morning that this just doesn't work. I cannot make this work in a way that later on is modular, and that in a way that I want to use these shapes also for the board shape. It's not so evident, but yeah, I think I already told about the scenario. Imagine I want someone to be able to create his own board with dragging the tiles instead of some non-visual representation. Then I need to be able to take those shapes and draw them relative to something else, a mouse pointer or something. For the units, it's more clear. I think I already talked about it, but I want to have them on the board, but like I said, relative to a tile, preferably. But I also might want to have an available unit list or some kind of tree with possibilities, whatever. Then I want a visual representation of it there as well, probably, instead of just a text. But even then, even if it's just a text representation, I need to be able to initialize that object. And yeah, I've come to the conclusion that worked best that I do want the shape object on the tile or the unit object. So then again, I cannot initiate that object of unit or tile when the shape object needs row and column arguments. So there's no reusability for what I did. I can only use these shapes to initialize and draw the board, nothing else, in fact. So yeah, I've come to the conclusion that I have to kill this darling, more ashes, more destruction, and that I have to literally start all over with this because it doesn't work. So this morning already I did I started a little question with questioning session with ChatGPT, which I didn't record. did some little coffee chat with it. I started asking something about maybe the transform abstract class, blah, blah, blah. And then I explained that I'm going to redo the whole thing. Something about abstract classes, interface, blah, blah, blah. So, but it's all very fun and games, but mostly to confirm that I don't want it to too over-engineered. And it talked about it last night at some point. It said it had some critical things to say about because at a certain point I posted all the current classes that were concerned in our discussion. I posted 5 classes. By the way, it lost it kind of lost the context with that. Probably posted too much. And this specific chat is going on forever. I might need to want to refresh the chat a bit, restart a new chat at one point. But I evidently overextended its scope when I posted a long conversation already, because this was like my random question thing, and at a certain point it changed into all the things I was working with. So it was nice that it had the context, but it kind of lost it at a certain point, and then I asked it to read back and stuff, and then kind of got back, but I think I overextended its context. So I explained I have this idea to take a base hexagon, and I was thinking using these sizes, and then it says it's a good approach, and it gives me this on the right here, and in fact it gave me a better idea even than using a base hexagon with these sizes I have here, and that is to use a base hexagon with a radius of 1, very simple, so that all the math is very, very simple, and not even use sizes in there yet that I want, just use that. And then we went on a bit, and then I can do transformations on that. When I want this, I just need, this whole math is based on the whole, what is it called? The whole hexagon math is based on the size of a circle, in fact. So the only thing that changes if you want to do a transform is the radius of that circle, and all this math automatically you can update it with one variable. So that's pretty cool. And by giving me this example, it gave me the idea to just create, not even create, and because I go on and then I said, oh, wouldn't it be cool to replace these absolute numbers here with variables? That would be kind of logic. Then it gives me some example as well. What was there? So double, x coordinates, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, then I need also a circle, because I need a hexagon and a circle, and the circle isn't, it can be proportional to the hexagon, but it has its own size, in fact. And here in the code also, I last night I said, why did I do this? I said the side, which is effectively the radius. The side is the radius normally of the. No, sorry, I'm rambling. The radius is the radius, but for some reason I made the size of the side, because I don't actually use the radius except I use it here. But for some reason I made it relative. That's the reason, relative to the radius of the circle that I use also. That's not the radius for the hexagon, this one. But then I use that radius. The size of that radius, I take 140 for the size minus this radius, so a way to make them depend relative to one another. But that seems kind of weird the way I do that. If I want to make them relative to one another, it's more of, like I said, the size of the hexagon depends just on the radius, on the size of the circle, so to say. And I can just make my circle that I need a percentage, or what is it called in English? A part of that radius instead of doing this. It's kind of weird. So then I said, would it be better to replace those fixed numbers of a radius of 1 and replace them by variables that I then change those variables when I want to change the thing, and then blah blah blah, great. But then it seems right away for me, it was like yeah, it seems more complex, but that's just what it looks like. Then I was like, no, because what I want to try now is take that base shape and then apply the inbuilt Java transformation methods to it to change the size and also to do the calculations for to move it, etc. Because the shape functionality can, like I use somewhere in my shapes, it can get the bounds of a shape and then determine its center. It can do all kinds of operations on there without me having to manually put in sizes. So then I was like, no, when I keep a basic hexagon with just basic sizes like zeros and one, etc., I take that shape and then I do things. I already have values. I always have values, and I do transformations on that instead of trying to make those. Where was it? This is the most simple version it gave me. Instead of trying to make these values here, what is called dynamic, make them variables. I don't need it. That means that I only need like a variable that sets the radius of the whole thing, and then I can transform the whole shape in one go with Java Vine Transform functionality. So yeah, it gives me other orientations. One time it gives a flat top, then it gives the pointy top. It's oh yeah, it then gives me another version instead of the square. No, not the square root, just the root of what was it? The root of 3. It gives me an approximation in floating numbers. It's funny like that sometimes. It can be pretty confusing when you do back and forth with ChatGPT. That every time it gives a, but it can be cool to learn as well, because now I know what this stands for now, because I saw the other math. But it can be quite confusing if you are like, happens to me a lot, because every time it says things a little different. Oh, but it can also do it like that. Yeah, for it's like child's play, but for our brain, it's sometimes very confusing. Oh yeah, I wasn't sure what the F meant in this here, but it's just I've suspicion is what floating point, but it is effectively floating point. So having said all that, I'm going to completely destroy my baby here, my first baby steps in coding, because I really started with these shapes, and then on top of that got some ways to draw that on the screen. That's, by the way, nice to remember what this was when I began. It was really, well, you have been witness to all the class hierarchies and how I created all that, and it was also, I had this, it's like a thing that grows. I have like, these are the roots, and then you put that and that and that, and it grows into a thing. Yeah, and that is fine, or that is a way of doing things. Apparently there are that can be a style in some languages or whatever. Anyway, it's a kind of logic, I guess. But now, yeah, especially in the context of a game, this isn't going to work. So yeah, I need to make some huge changes. So what I will have is a base hexagon that will transform to, that I will use to define the other shapes. I need to see, by the way, how I can define them in terms of that, because I need to be able to get some relative x and y coordinates from that. I wonder if there's Java functionality to get all those points out of it. So this base hexagon. Oh wait, I was thinking I need a separate class for that base hexagon, but I came to the and then I was thinking, oh, I use the base hexagon, then I apply sizes to it for my shapes. But no, my shapes can be the same. They can just have values based off the base hexagon, and then those shapes, they get transformed in one go. Firstly, they get resized. with the size I want, which I set somewhere else, because that size is important. That, for instance, when I zoom in and out on the board, that size can be transformed and everything transforms. I can also transform the to be seen what's most effective, most efficient, but that's potentially what's possible. Or I just want to change the size of the tiles, everything. And so I want to first then transform the size with the size that I set. And for drawing it, I also need, of course, but that's really for the rendering. I need to tell it where it starts to draw, but that is really a canvas thing, a screen thing. And then next I need to do a transformation. So I change the size of the object. It's important for me, and that in my head, that can be one object, a base hexagon object, an object of every shape that I need. Then I can change the size of that object according to what size I want, and then I take those resized objects and put them on the board with the what my transform array to board coordinates thing is. So that's a few steps, and that math is actually also pretty simple. But yeah, the math to transform them will need to use variables that I get when I change the size. But those will be just the x and y. That will just change these. That will just need an resized x and y. The rest of the math stays the same, and I think that is with the find transform methods in Java. That's pretty straightforward. And then I take those x and y's for a new size with the same proportions and apply a transformation to them depending on the column and the row in the column. And what is contained in the tile object is just the base shape. And the other things I'm saying is, one is the size that changes. And this size is specifically for the board, because I could have another size. For example, if I want to represent the tile somewhere else on the screen in a menu or something, then the resize factor will be different, can be different potentially. So that will be size for board, size for this, a size for that, and that applies the changing of the size, and then the transform from array to screen is also just only applicable for the board. When I need a transform method for every situation, that might also take another size, but that's not saying all that. That size might be very much related to what I want to transform them. In fact, that might avoid. Yeah, no, I can have them exterior. I think I can way more easily do a transformation on that size as well if I want to. For a certain case, like I said, that I want to zoom or something, that I don't have to be. That would change the transform to screen. Maybe that size is very much related to the specific transform method. The only thing that isn't necessarily related to that is the original x and y. That is more something that is related to where I want to start on the drawCanvas, but that could also be separate. For the board, that is pretty much where I want to start to draw now. But for another transformation method, the x and the y are already relative to another screen object. So in fact, what I'm saying here means that those the size and the drawing starting point are pretty closely related to the transformation that I want. Interesting. So, but that if I do that, then I can do with one class less, which would pretty logical. Except that when but that's just way ahead. But it's interesting to think about it. Except when the size depends on, for example, what kind of screen or resolution, or whether it's on a phone, tablet, or PC. Well, that's the screen size, of course. Yeah, not necessarily the resolution, but the screen size. Then you might want to have those. You might want to have the size, the global size. Yeah, but it's just another layer. Yeah. That's just another layer that can do that. So, I'm gonna work on all that. So I'm pretty confident that I'm on the right track. And even what I was doing all night, and yesterday and all night, and maybe the day before, I don't even remember. I'm on the right track as well. But I think kind of. But that's why I didn't get it to work, because I want to try to get it to work in a way that is elegant, and that is just not working like that. So let me see. So I was first thinking to have a separate class for my base hex, but suddenly I don't see the use for that anymore, except when I can get, shall I break all this or make a class next to it? I'm gonna work inside of it. Because this is, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, it didn't work anyway, but I want to rename it also to avoid confusion. This is gonna be called TileShape. No, board shape. No, board shapes is pretty okay. Board shape's pretty okay. Yeah, I was thinking renaming it TileShape, but get shape config, all that stuff. No. So do I just copy the thing from ChatGPT or what? It's pretty convenient. What is this? Base Hexagon or just on checks from last night if it's no. Luckily, it gave me the tip to check for whether get lower left was nil, and I just couldn't get it to get any value in there. So, and what's more, I think these can be static, but they don't need to be, I think, anyway. So that's the same class, hexagon, instead of destroying the other, I'm going to write on top of it. Yeah, maybe not waste all the time typing it out. ChatGPT starts on the, then it goes down one, it starts on the upper, on the, then it goes one, means x1, x is, oh no, it starts on the lower left as well, because it then goes one x to the right. What was it again? The side, what was the... Yeah, here again, I was also looking at redblobgames.com again. He has beautiful things about this. This is what I'm talking about here. The size is the same as the radius. So different examples, pointy, flat. This is really very beautiful resource for doing this kinds of thing and getting your head around it. Also here, so the sizes between them, etc. You have the size, which is the radius that defines the rest of the size of the hexagon, and then the width can very easily be, well, if you understand the math, can very easily be defined by that. The width is this, in fact, 1.5 times the size is the width. The size, 1.5 times the radius is the size. Is the width of the thing. And then, yeah, the 3/4 here, that's the displacement for your column row thingy. And then when you have the radius, the size here, the height is the root of 3 times the size, things like that. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. It's the inverse, because it's I'm using pointy tab. But that's really really beautiful. The basic math and all kinds of things. I already showed it in another video. Look at this great, beautiful things with different coordinates, styles, and etc. Like so. It goes in very deeply all these relations. It's beautiful. So again, I looked at that to get my head around it. Also, because ChatGPT gives these nice math, but this is a nice resource to check to get kind of understand what it's doing. So yeah, kind of whatever. It starts in the lower left vertex because no, the next one is one to the right. So when you have and only that, so that means it takes 1 point and then goes X. Huh? X is in a horizontal, yeah. Or is it a point? Is this a flat one it's using? What am I on about? This is a flat one. I asked it, posted it, pointy top. I'm having a brain error again. X and Y. X is horizontal axis, Y is vertical. Or am I height width? X, Y. I'm really having a burnout right now. How can it go? There is no position in a pointy top where you can go from 0, 0. Oh fuck, I'm stupid. That's the starting point. No. Yes. Huh? What I have like where's my shape config? XX. It only moves in the horizontal space. Moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It starts somewhere and it draws one horizontal line. How can that be? It moves one side to the right. So that would be the lower right. Does it even know how to draw a hexagon, this thing? I specifically reposted it. This is a flat. One side to the right. That is what I do here. That is, like I said, and it starts in XY, 0, 0. That would be from lower left to lower right. Yeah, no, that's not possible. Okay. It's either I am really a retard or ChatGPT is hallucinating. So hex move to, yeah, I don't need help. 0, 0. Oh, and I was talking about going counterclockwise, but in fact, I think I don't know which order I am going. What? I'm going lower left, lower. Yeah, lower right. No, I think I don't know which direction the clock goes because it was clockwise that I'm doing it. Is it? I don't remember. No, it's counterclockwise. Yeah. Oh, god damn it. I think I don't look at clocks enough. Clockwise. Yeah, it goes like that. Yeah. So let's go clockwise for funsies. And start in the lower left again. Let's say that let's do the same that I had, except go clockwise. X move to is the start, and then 9 2. That should be a comma. Should I instantiate them with? I think they're all. Can you do 0f? Is that possible? If I do floating points, they're all floating points. Let's not. They're either doubles or they're floating points. I think it's good because here's root stuff in there to make it floating point for more precision. Although I was throwing it out here, right, in my circle to make it work. Made it a double. It's less precise, but it's do I need it? No, when it's 0, I don't need to specify it, I think. Okay. So starting in the lower left, because that's how where my circle tile is positioned, so that is more easy for to keep for understanding. So then, if it's and I look at it, it's interactive and everything with height, inner circle, outer circle. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Do that in HTML on top of that. Oh, work of art. Line to. Does it help to keep my little friend here? Probably more confusing than anything else. So I go up, which means why is my cursor not here? Which means x stays 0 and y goes up. And let's, instead of what ChatGPT is doing, let's throw the math in there right away. It's doing weird shit because it's with numbers, which can work. Like I was saying, I just can have numbers in there because that's when I'm not doing the math. I don't need to do that, huh? Do I? That is, I think, the root of 3 up, if I'm not mistaken. Align to. Yeah, I can just. I'm just taking the size, and then it goes. Still, pretty much messes with my brain. Then both positions change. Let me see. Let's help myself a bit. Lower left. Upper left. Upper. That's the point. What I'm going to now. Then this would be upper right. Then this would be lower right. And this would be lower. And then it's closing the thing. So upper left would be that. Oh, I think I needed. It gives the other map. Oh no, this will make it more will only make it more complicated. I wrote the map down here so I can. So size is 1. Yeah, it seems more simple with values, but actually isn't, because that's yeah, when you have the numbers, it gets weird in your head. So the height, yeah, before that I was using a triangle that is inside of the hexagon. That's also a way to calculate it, which makes it somehow more simple if you know what's there. But this is actually more straightforward. But now I have to think really hard how, yeah, because I can see the square root of 3 and this and that, but like I said, it's values, and I kind of. By the way, it always the square root of 3. That's not a value. That's just has to do with pi in the circle. A square root. Oh yeah, it's square root. It's not. Oh yeah, because pi has a. What is it called in English? Yeah, so square root is not different than the root. That has to do with circumference of with pi and everything. So now I need to kind of see that in my little head how that works. Min half. Oh, of course. Yeah. So it goes to a half of 1. Yeah, that's messing with my brain. So it goes not to this, met something, whatever. It just goes to 0.5. How do you say it in English? Point, I guess. In code. It goes up to 0.5. Is it with a comma or yeah, 0.5? A double F? Why doesn't it take no? Why is the color only? Oh, because it messed it up here. So yeah, that's a half. Let's write it here, because otherwise I keep forgetting it. Half of size. It's important later for transformations. And then they change both. Then it goes half of size. And size is dependent on, no, sorry, half of the width. God. Width. And the width is calculated with 8 of the size, which is the radius. Half of width. Half of height, but that's, yeah, half of height. I'm really not doing very great. But yeah, that's a half of the height, and you can see it here. I go up with the one of these sides is equal, because these are all separated in equal parts in this kind of hexagon. So there it goes, because it's enclosed by a circle of, and that's a quarter of the, no, that's a third. Yeah, that's a quarter of the height, etc. All fun, all great fun. And then it moves to the right, which you can see in his schedule, which is a half of the width, not to be mixed up here with the size. And the width is calculated by the square root of 3 times the size, which my little friend gives a nice example of. The square root of 3. Oh yeah, and times the size, it's 1. So that's why it becomes so simple. That's kind of, I think it's kind of funny. So then I really have measurements, and it's kind of counterintuitive, because yeah, I'm at least right away want to have a formula in there to give it any, like kind of like I had to give it any value and then transform them with the formula. Oh, formula, so formula, you can transform stuff. And we learned in math in school, at least I did, it's better to represent it in a formula than in exact values. But because we have all these transform functionalities, it's, yeah, you can just create a very simple shape and then transform it. I need this math to iterate through the array and then know how much I need to place it to the left and down the next hexagon. There I need the math, the hexagon math, to have the correct distances. But here it's pretty, pretty simple. So now I need the math point square root, blah de blah. Give me that. And that's the square root of 3, because it's 1, it doesn't change. Otherwise it would be, no, wait, no, this half of the square root of 3, because it's square root of 3 times the size. Size is 1, so that will be just the square root of 1, and then we separate that, divide that by 2. That is how it goes x, and then it goes up with a quarter of the height. With a quarter of the height, and the height is 1.5 times the size. So that's 1.5. So that's a quarter of 1.5. How does, where was he? My little friend said that a quarter of 1.5. Is that correct what I was saying? A quarter of 1.5. That is 3 divided by 2. times 3/3 times a half. Oh, that's a half. Oh, that's why. Right? Okay, maybe if I could write it in decimals. I'm bugging. How do I multiply? I don't even know the word. When you write 3, divide by 2, etc. I forgot the word. Times 1.5. That will be. I'm having a really big trouble doing math right now. Half of 1.5. That's 0.75, isn't it? Am I being real stupid now? I'm talking about going up a quarter of the height. There it says, and the height, a quarter of the height. Oh, yeah, no. 3, yeah, really bugging. 3 divided by 2 here. That's 1.5. Times the size is 1, so that's 1.5. Times a quarter. I'm freaking out. Pointy top. And the vertical distance is 3/4 when it goes down. Yeah, it goes from there to there, but now I just need a quarter. I'm gonna check with the calculator, because also ChatGPT is kind of confusing me as usual. With this kind of starts to become a thing. I don't want to blame my stupidity on ChatGPT, of course, but kind of does things that sometimes that are more that are more confusing than anything else. That's 0.75. I'm doubting it because he hasn't. Yeah, I'm not doubting it, no, but he doesn't have 0.75 in his thing. Either I'm stupid or it is stupid. Oh, I said here no and a half, but it's when it goes up, it's minus. Don't forget that. So I'm writing everything behind it in comments because this is so messy in my mind. When you're like a math teacher, I think it's obvious, but so, so I'm really confused now. But I found the calculator. You can just put in the size, right? 1. And then I said, so that the side actually is the same as the radius, which is logical. When you see this shape, you can divide. Actually, I checked it. You can divide it in 6 regular triangles. That means that all the sides are the same size. And here also I see long diagonal, short diagonal. What is D? S? I used S and I think a small r here. I used some, yeah, you can't see it in that figure, but I used some other kind of measurement. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, I'm either really being really stupid and obtuse, because I had checked ChatGPT saying it's using a thing with a radius of 1, but yeah, I get values of 0.75. Oh, of course I'm calculating the wrong way around. That's probably the problem. I'm going a half up there, but I'm going up. Yeah, I'm going half of the width. Yeah, I'm going half of the width to the right. But then I'm here, and then I'm going a quad. Oh, I'm so stupid. When you go up for a quarter of the height, I go up a quarter of the height. Why am I? I'm really not really mathing right today. I'm not mathing right at all today, because half of the height and I say it up here, the height is 1.5 times the size. So I'm going up 0.75, but actually it's minus because I'm going up. I goes to minus. Okay, yeah, I'm a total retard. The coordinates are relative to the starting point. I think I'm being retarded. I'm calculating from where I was, but it goes x, y, x. So when I have a quarter, when I have from the last position, I go up a quarter. This square of 3 thing is right because I go from 0 to 1/2 the width, and then I go up a quarter of the height, but from the starting point I go up 3/4 of the height, right? I go from 3/4 of the height. I think that's it. I don't remember. I can check. I want to go from lower right to upper right, because I was thinking, it's drawing a line from that to that, but no, of course, like oh my god, so my brain isn't working. I don't tell it. It goes up, so minus. There's my other thingy here. Minus the long leg from there to there. 2/3 of a long leg. I go up in my stuff. Actually, it can go up one side. Why is it so? If the side is the same as the radius, why not go straight for the? Why not go straight for the side? Something weird is going on. Why is up half of the height? Well, half of the height is the same as the size. Of course, because the size. So maybe my does your body mixed up because it's very bad at math apparently. But radius can mean different things, I saw. But it specifically says the distance from the center to each vertex. But that's not true. But why the same with here, with the red blob? Why isn't it just... Well, because it doesn't talk about that. But that would mean that, like I just checked, the size, which is the same as the radius, is 1 in this case. Here, when I go from lower left to upper left, that's one size, so that should be 1. I think fuck ChatGPT in this case, but yeah, it does use 1. Maybe it was... Oh, of course it's -1, and he does it in a different order, so I won't judge, but I mean the vertices. But I think it's just me that's being obtuse. A half of the height, and the height is 1.5 times the size. Yeah, that checks out, because the 1.5 times the size. The size is from the center to the vertex, which if you see it down here is with all the lines, it's the same as the side. So the height is 2 times that, so height is 1.5 times? No, that would mean that the height, height is 2 times the size. What? Eh? Yeah, here. Outer circle. We're talking about a pointy thingy. Here it says the height is 2 times the size. The width is different because the width is the root of 3. Oh, square root. Don't think it's square root. He writes just the root of 3 times the size. So I'm really being ridiculous here. So now when doing this stuff, I go up 1, so that's -1. How do I get how do I get this weird? Oh, I think I mixed up yeah, I mixed up the distance between them and the height in itself. That's what I mixed up. My own formula, I wrote it down, but I mixed it up. Distance between the size to write them is something entirely different. And if I don't think ChatGPT is being wrong. And then I was mixing up, counting from x, the half of the height. Yeah, like what I did here, the width for my thing is okay, but the height is not all this stuff. It's just 2. Sounds a little more simple. Of height is a half times 2 k 1, which is of course 1. And then from to the point is x is half of the width. That's correct. But then from x all the way up is 3/4 of the height. So that's correct. And then y is 3/4 and minus 3/4 times height is 2 times 1. So that is 2 times 3.25. No, not 3/4. 0.75, which effectively is 1.5, which ChatGPT had. I am the one who is being really, really retarded. So that is minus 1.5. I can give it an F, not sure. Oh. Wow. Didn't know it was going to hurt my head so much to do the math all over. Damn it. Everything, I think, oh, I do this, I do that, and it takes hours and hours just to do a simple thing. I'm so feeling so stupid a lot of the times these days. Okay, let's finish this up. Yeah, I forgot I had the x plus something in my original code, so that's way less confusing for me mentally. You have that x plus x that, so it's obvious that you're working from the x point. And I kind of lost that there. So yeah, I finished it, and in the end, ChatGPT was right. Did it in a different order, drawing the hexagon. But yeah, it kind of does some different order. It kind of looks like he inverted the x and y. Anyways, but it was pretty close. But instead of Yeah, it's amazing. I can imagine that it messes with my brain. I can't. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you start somewhere else, all this stuff changes as well, of course. So I did started lower left and did a clockwise thing, and here it is. Ah, wow, this cost me. I don't know how much time. Oh, you do that. Oh, it's simple. But yeah, I could have copied it, but now that I found it out myself again and how it works, I know exactly what it does and why it does it, and I put the in the comments. I put the retard calculations like that plus is so. Why is that a quarter of the height? So that means a quarter, and the height I put them up here. So that's a quarter times 2 times 1. Even a retard can come, even me can't understand it now. So yeah, but yeah, at least it kind of works. I need a point instead of a hello. Ah, that. So yeah, now I understand how it came to that value. It messes with my brain. The translate those formulas to actual values, and yeah, like it said, it was totally right. When you use one value of one, it's super simple in terms of math. But yeah, I'm not used to doing those kind of calculations at all. Maybe in high school I would have been way faster with this, but last time when I created all this like over 10 years ago, I think. No, that's not over 10 years ago. No, that's a little less. But I worked 6 years out there, like 6, 7. Yeah, it starts running towards 10 years ago. I had trouble with it as well. But yeah, when you make little drawings and everything, how it works, and especially that with a resource like, again, the Red Block Games, the guy is a passionate. I was looking other things on Google and I saw something about his stuff. He's collecting everything about hexagonal grids for over 20 years. I saw somewhere. So with resources like that, it really helps visualize what you're doing. Yeah, and I need to understand it. But still, yeah, then I was messing. Oh, I wasn't calculating from the origin x y point. I was calculating from the last point. So, oh, right. But there it is. So in the end, I think I should apologize to ChatGPT for mouthing it, saying it can't do math. Well, it was all the time. It was me who was being stupid. Um, so yeah, let's get on with it. Now I need to make a circle. This base circle. How was a circle again? I have plenty of circles. Let's not type it again. Take out all my fancy stuff. Erp. Oh, keep that. What is that again? What does it stand for? Why doesn't it say so? Let's change it back to a float. Float, double. And just wondering what oh, that's the width and the height, of course. Yeah. So like in my hexagon, the height and the width are 2 times the radius, of course. And then this depends on how large I want it. Oh yeah, like I said, I wanted to make it kind of dependent on the radius from the base hexagon. That it's like a percentage of that. to easily make its size relative to and this is 0, 0, I guess. It's only the radius that I'm giving it. It's in caps. Oh, that's just because I have yeah, the radius of that is 1. Times 2. Let's make it. Oh, it's actually pretty. Yeah, let's say it's 2/3 of the radius, so that would mean it's 0.66, but let's write it in like so. I'm not sure. I don't think that matters, does it? If normal math applies, normal math rules. Code. I can adapt that. Like I said, I might want to make it dependent on the radius, because now when I change the size of everything, yeah, because like the radius is the one thing that the one size that I will make variable to make them, to transform the size, to make them bigger. So if I don't do that, I need to set the radius separately for this one. So private int, no, private integer. No, integer. That's it. Integer is only a whole number, isn't it? This is gonna be a float. Is that with a, isn't that with a capital? I'm not sure. Radius, private static even. I can already give it a value of 1. Oh, but then again, I could I could as well put it in here, right? Okay. How do? Yeah. Yeah. I was just thinking, when I have all this math in here, or all the values in here, probably next thing I'm gonna say to myself is that I do need one of these to be a variable. And there you go. Radius. And there you go. So otherwise, yeah, like I said, I wanted to transform these shapes and apply and use the radius for the transformation. But I can use that radius in the formula to do an affine transform on this, even without giving this radius as a variable. That's possible, because it just needs it for. No, can I? Is that true what I'm saying? No, that doesn't work. So I have to work the radius in there. Or and radius is the same as size, but is it interesting to have, because now I'm thinking I can even leave those base circles, hexagons in this shape class, but the question then is, when I make units, do I make them relative to, when they're relative to tiles, do I make them relative to the base circle and hexagon, or relative to the returned shapes? Probably to the base thingies. So that might merit that they go somewhere else, these things. So what's logical? I think radius is logical here, and then size is more logical where I transform, so that it's clear that I'm transforming size. When I'm going to transform a radius, I can put in the comments that equals size equals radius of circle. Yeah, that would be more logical. So radius 1, then yeah, I have to put it in here, right? I'm so great. I do everything double. Okay. So I did my best to take out all those variable things. I have to work them back in. It should be a little more easy now than coming to all this, but yeah, I do need this. Otherwise, it's just gonna be shit. Okay, so I'm gonna write it out. This is a half of height, which is height is 2 times size, which is 2 times radius. Let's put it in my comment here. Radius in radius. 2 times radius is the height, and then I need half of that. So that means separating it, dividing it by 2. Oh, and then don't take out the minus. Did it? Oh, I forgot the slash here. Like so. Oh, I'm such a retard. I love it. So the x is half of the width, which is the square, the root of 3 times the size. So root of 3 times radius, and divided by 2. Yeah, because that's just 1. I probably don't have to put accolades around that, or what is it called, but I like to do that for my own sanity. I mean, in math, the order is normally, it doesn't even matter, dividing and multiplying, I guess. It's too long. It's been too long since high school math. But at least for my readability, I like it that way. And then the y is 3/4. Where's my y? Oh, here. Oh, I took a shortcut there. Y minus. I took a shortcut there. That is 2 times. Oh, I've written it in a way that's incomprehensible for myself. That's amazing. It goes up 3/4 of the height. I didn't write it out here. Why is there a 2 in there? Height is 2 times size. It goes up 3/4 of the. Oh, God damn it. The upper. It goes 3/4 of the height up. And then the height is 3/4 times 2 times the size. That's what I wanted to write there. So that is minus, no, nothing, minus 2 times the radius is the same as the size, and then 3/4 of that, which can be written as that divided by 3 times 2. And now it is complaining that it wants a bracket. Like so, with the minus in front of it. Oh, I have one bracket, one thing too many. Which can be written like that. Of course, it can be simplified by 6, etc. But for readability's sake, I leave it like that. At least for me, that works better. So, the upper right, that goes x plus width, that is the square. I didn't write it out very. Oh yes, I did. Times 1 is the size. Yeah. I already. Yeah, no, that's more clear if I write it like that. Size. I wasn't very. So this means doing that, just adding times radius, which won't change the thing with these measurements of 1. Yeah, so I don't even, in the end, I don't need the whole value thing. Like, oh, this has to be 0. It's, yeah, I thought that was a nice way of doing it. Like I said, because I want to make the base circle relative to that. Otherwise, I need to set both of them the size, and I already don't want to do that. I should change this -1. It's, by the way, upper right. Oh yeah, that's minus because it's going up still from the x, from the origin. Oh yeah, here I made it unnecessarily complex. I do 2 times the radius divided by 2. Yeah, that is very, very true. But like I said, for understandability, but that's just, that doesn't take any, that doesn't change the thing, because I said the side is equal to the radius is equal to the size. So and that same is for this one. I was looking at it. Half of the height. Height is 2 times the size of the radius, so that will be minus the radius. That's all. That's all. Let's put a space in there. I already put that one in there. That's the lower right. The x is the same as the one up before, and then the last one. Oh yeah, I was weirded out. I'm like, this is 1/4 of the radius of the 1/4 of the size. 1/4, yeah, of the size, where the size is 2 times radius. 1/4 of the size down. No, 1/4 of the height down. And here I'm going 1/3 of the height up, 2/3 of the height up. I'm like, this is wrong, but effectively this was 3/4 of the height up, so I did that wrong. I did a weird brain fart there. So yeah, now this is what it looks like. It's apparently have spaces in there. They're not aligned well. This is, by the way, this I think this is way more simple than this math is way more simple than what I was doing. I was using, like I said, some triangle in there. That is like here, which long leg, short leg. That's a triangle that is drawn in here like so, with a line through the center from one vertex to another, and another line horizontal, like you have, why don't you? Like this, you have a triangle like this, and you can do calculations on that as well, calculate the same thing. But then effectively you're working with a third, with thingies, with stuff. This is way more clean, I think, with quarters of that and this, way more easy to understand. And this is complaining that it wants oh, these are defined as doubles here. I'm like, what, is my notation wrong? Oh. Flow at. Great. And instead of this, radius is some config. That will be something like that. Some config and then the board shape size without a capital. Something like that, I think. So now I'm going to see how I can base these other shapes on these ones without, yeah, I think I need the radius, might need that in other places as well. Not sure. I will try to avoid that, so that maybe I can totally separate these things, and not starting with the corridor zones. Base circles is a nice place to start, and they will be. Oh, I found that out somewhere. Why didn't I write that down? Yeah, when I did get upper and etc. I should have written that down. Oh, it's written here. Oh, I'm a retard. Okay, again. Yeah, I was trying to get something from I was thinking of getting something from my base hexagon for the. Oh, I do. In fact, I do, because I want to place this X. Yeah, it's interesting working on that. I'm starting to see problems with my approach already. What I want, yes. What if I pass parameters to that circle method for the other ones, or is it the other one around, other way around? Let me see. For this one, I want it to use, if I just define it with a 0 point, no, here I'm going to construct for my base things, I'm going to construct the corridor shape, which needs some cutouts that are relative to the hexagon. And I'm going to create the culture shape. No, that's just yeah, that's just the base circle. That's okay. I don't really need that one. And neither do I need the circle that starts on 0, 0. That's already there. So I need a base circle. And so that's interesting that I start with this. I need a base circle, which in fact, the way I define it now, it starts in 0, 0, as well as the base hexagon with 0, 0 is lower left. Then I don't need 3 of these, because when I can take the corridor shape is just the hexagon with these 3 circles subtracted from it. So what? Corridor zone west. Oh, I think I copied the wrong stuff. Bottom left, and there's top one. Oh yeah, no, I know I don't need the bottom left one. You can go away right away. Let's destroy stuff. And then, oh, paste it. Stupid motherfucker, because you fuck everything up. Corridor shape, let's copy that as well. Just to have it close for now. Like so. So now, am I not doing the same thing with different words now? If I base this on the radius. No, the radius doesn't get transformed depending on row column. I just define it once and I can use that now. So this is way more efficient, but I think I do need all this stuff together. Anyway, this, like I said, I might need this for relative positioning of units and stuff, but then I can do other things. I can do find center point and stuff. To do that kind of operations, I just checked on a base hexagon. You can do a few like this, find the center and get what is it? Put a square around it, get thingies, but you cannot. I cannot find these vertices with some kind of shape functionality. I think not that I've seen. Why doesn't it work? Because I didn't point in this. Contains equals get bound. Yeah, that gives a rectangle. I can do path, but that's for transformation. Intersects. Right, yeah, I can chain multiple methods, but then I should do something like get bounds and then do things relative to those bounds. So that's way not what I need. So I really don't need it. So bottom right, let's change this name. This will be circle east. Doesn't need to call base circle. Doesn't have anything to do with that. Meaning I want this on the lower right vertex. So that would be X would be this. I'm really worried now that if I'm not doing the same, like I said, the same that I had before. Let me concentrate. Yes. But with different words. I want upper right. I don't want, and the y is 0. Why isn't it happy? Return new double. That's why it's not happy. Float. Like so. Do I have a double? Path to the float. Oh, I didn't finish my return. I didn't finish my didn't return anything here. Still doesn't work. Cast to float. Choose type of X to double. Why is that a double? Why did I say anything about a double in the definition of it? Static float radius 1 X line to map. Do I specifically need to tell it? Oh, it's path to the float. So I imagine that takes floats. Base circle, ellipse, float. I'm missing something. Float, float, float. Crap. No, I cannot copy at all. Oh, I only have to delete this. That's about the same effort. Why is it bugging out on me? But why isn't it working here? But it is working on the other one. What am I missing? Public shape, new ellipse 2D, point float. Why is this returning a why is this returning a double? Oh, maybe ask my digital body. I'm tired. Well, good excuse. Okay. Why is float X in? Oh, God damn it! I do that all the time. Why is float X in circle east returning a double and not a float? Okay, mat squared returns a double. However, where that case can double to float when it does have precision. Yeah, I thought that floating point was more more precise. Can you just ask ChatGPT to explain? I was convinced that float was more precise, and now it's saving something for precision. Float is a single precision floating point number. It occupies 32 bits and the precision about to 7 decimal digit. Double. Oh no, double is bigger. Double is a double precision floating point number that occupies 64 bits in memory, provides precision up to about 60 decimal digits. Oh, okay. Yeah, of course it's. Oh, so floating point isn't the same as float. I thought that was the same. That's float. Okay. Yeah, I can easily do with doubles, but then again, I can easily use the I can easily waste the memory on that. It won't be it won't be a huge impressive thing. So decisions. If there's some math here that needs the cast to float to function, but it's interesting that it doesn't. Apparently, this whole base hexagon thing does return a float thingy, but it can take. Let's ask it. Oh, I already posted it, right? Why can the path to D point float in base hexagon take the double from the math point? Yeah, that's why I didn't understand. I was like, oh, but that root thingy needs way more precision than the other things, but it has more precision. Well, I'm going for doubles. I don't need the. I think I can waste the memory on that, and I think it's fancy. Return new double up. Otherwise, I have to cast that thing to what? What do I need to make it 0.0? Oh yeah, otherwise it's not happy. Funny. Now I know I cannot. Let's do that. Otherwise I have to cast the result to from the radius thingy to a float, and I don't like that. I think I really don't need to be too worried about wasting resources here. Well, a lot of the time I'm saying, yeah, that's smarter because efficient, etc. But yeah, that's true. It's I could keep it as light as possible instead of doing stupid things, right? Really don't need that precision. Imagine zooming in isn't going to be a super high fidelity, I don't know what thing. It takes, that was it. It takes double the memory. Yeah, no, fuck it. I was thinking maybe it's a little difference in the. No, but I really won't. No. I really won't notice the difference. That's just ridiculous. V. Let's just add a gas to that one. Be done with it. Okay, but I thought I was using the higher precision one. So, oh, that's maybe why it does this weird artifact sometimes. I don't know what I want. I'm changing it back. So, find out the position for the last thingy, for the last circle, and they both have a value, and those are X and Y. of the upper. So the X should be this, copy, and the Y should be this, copy. It's that simple. That should just be the whole thing, in fact. So, and then, did I change its name? No, I didn't. This is circle north. And then the corridor shape pretty much stays the same, except this is called base circle. This is called circle east, not west. And this is called circle north. So this is now the new corridor shape. And what is this? Return all kinds of fancy things because I wanted to be smart, like so. Base hexagon is relocated to oblivion. Center point hexagon. Oh yeah, that I need for the corridor zones. And this can stay the same, except let's also change this to double. Now we're doing it everywhere or nowhere. This has a cap. So this can kind of stay the same. I could also do this with a radius math, but why? Because I want as soon as possible. I want to use the inherent Java functionality. Oh, here also some reason there is a. Does it need that? Public point to D. Does it need all this stuff? Why is it there? Oh, because yeah, I need to say that this is a double of type X and an int. Oh, int is a whole number. Yeah. Yeah, that was it. I thought so, but just checking. Okay, I had some conversion going on here exactly because I was using floats. So get bounds. This is what I'm talking about, the bounds stuff. And then a lower right before I. So get lower right. Yeah, so again, for my base corridor zones, I do think this is not what I wanted. I wanted to have a base hexagon with just very simple values. And now, because of the circle that I want to be related to that, I had to couple them, which I of course could have avoided by taking a hexagon radius and creating a separate circle radius, which then, no, that doesn't work because here I need, I do need the radius from the hexagon. So yeah, so I do need that. It's like it wasn't quite what I had in mind, but right. And once again, I'm wondering if I'm not really being stupid. I can with this system, I already said that I could make a radius for the hexagon and a radius for the circle, and then make that just simply depend on that. With the formula that now I say here, I can just put it in there, or at least the divided by 3 times 2, it does need it here. But I could also create, like I had before here, these lower left and those simplified things, simplified vertices. I could use them here now that they only depend on the radius and not on like why it didn't work is because I had this x loop, y loop in there that got transformed, etc. And then it only gets transformed and thus gets a value when drawing it on the board. So I have empty objects, etc. Infinite loop of misery. But now I can definitely make them, which means that in these other shapes I can just use those variables, which also means that I can like separate the base hexagon and the base circle, from all the rest. And then I could just use those, and then I will have all kinds of points here. The disadvantage is that I then have to put in here point get x, point get y again. But that would separate the logic a bit. Then this is clear that this has measurements, and that's that. And that everything that happens here depends on that, if I would ever want to change it or whatever. And I won't have that problem of initialization, etc., because the radius is always something. So I'm doing all these nice thingies. But it was because I was working here on starting to work on my base corridor south bub. So I have to look all the time, upper, that's that coordinate. And that's just annoying. Already, that's just annoying. That's enough reason enough. So there's only one question. Do I want to? Does that need to be in the board shape? No. As soon as that class is called. So this would not be a variable. Just it would be new point without a space 2D. Lower left, copy like so. Can I do a point to the double? Yes, I can. Why doesn't it work? That doesn't exist. Double lower left is not used. Yeah, that's all. Then it would look like that. I cannot just throw that in here. Point 0.0 lower left. Oh, yeah, maybe there's a smarter way than do get x, get y. Because in the double, maybe there's a smarter way to... Huh, that's a good thing to ask ChatGPT. Copy. Okay. Oh, so I can also just call them with just x and y without the getter. So yeah, this starts to look a lot like I was doing before in some ways. So yeah, some things I wasn't doing weren't that bad, but the global implementation failed me at the end. And because oh yeah, well, I was just saying I need those in other classes. So then I probably need getters and setters, or I'll just set these to public. I don't. Is there a problem when I set these to public? There could be if I use them for transformations and stuff later. But I don't really feel like getting all kinds of, yeah, let's do it the long way around. Let's do it nice and official. But here in this internal code, I can just use them without the getter and the setter. That's no problem. Let's copy this stuff instead of typing it all out. I can fill in the blanks. Of course, I didn't copy the points with it to make my life harder. I know that's more annoying. Copy. Okay, let's play with it. So yeah, now I'm kind of addressing what I was saying, that I was worried that with all the repeating again these coordinates in my other classes, that I was kind of doing the same thing as way before. So this seems kind of once again as usual, kind of overkill. But in some ways, but I like it. I like to do this, and so I can separate the classes and use this in other ones. Lower point y, like so. Yeah, this is so much readable again. Otherwise, I repeated this over and over. Lower right x, comma, lower right point y. Up. It's not happy with this one. Why? Oh, I have one bracket too many, that's all. So already that is different, and then I need to not have that. Private static double radius base circle radius hexagon. So then that is already, and then that's just copy separated by 3 for now. Don't know what it will become. And by the way, do I need to instantiate those? Copy. Let's just check. I don't think so. Oh no, primitives don't need. Yeah, okay. Just to be sure. I thought I never did that, but right. Okay, now of course I broke the radius thingies. Let's do it very verbose again to avoid any confusion on my part especially. So now this will just be, oh, maybe I can call it just radius circle. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's be irresponsible like that. Because the radius for the hexagon, the hexagon circle is a circle as well, of course. So this isn't divided by 3, it's just times 2. That's just the radius. And then the first, the double x, that was, what's it? Yeah, the x value, that is the, ow, my neck hurts. The square of 3 times the radius. And then 0, 0, of course, don't be stupid. That is the upper. Because now I need to do base hex. No. Okay, I don't feel like, yeah, I do need an instance of it. If I want to separate this out, I do need an instance of it. And if this could just pertain to board shapes, but this will also pertain to, I think, directly to the unit where they are drawn. That is more logical. I want to make the units relative to the tiles, but I will have more flexibility when I use this class where I have the vertices, etc. I will have way more flexibility than when I just use the shapes and I have to return the center, and then I have to calculate from the center onwards, etc. That will be great for thingies, but for the corridor zones, for example, that will be a bit of a bore. That is exactly on the middle point of, yeah, because the middle point of the zones, the subdivision zones of the hexagons, they fit perfectly with the math, hexagon math. And so let's be very annoying about all this and make getters public point to the get lower left. They will be just very small, cute methods anyway, like so. Maybe that. Let's copy this a whole bunch of times. Now that I've learned I can do this on one line, it's even 6, more easy. Get lower left, get upper left, get upper, get upper right. Oh, lower was there? Good. Right. Good. Lower right. And get lower. Like so. No. Lower left, upper. There's one word too many in there. And upper. Upper right, left. That's interesting. Yeah, the program doesn't care. Upper right, upper right, lower right, and lower. So first I'm making these simple variables here. And then when I've done that, I refuse to use them here. And I'm going to use all these verbose getters. That's actually pretty amazing. So I need the lower right for this circle. And that will be get x and then comma get lower right get y. Oh no, doesn't work like that. It works like so. Point get y like so. Why is it still divided? Oh, that was the base circle. Oh, and then also private double, radius hexagon. That's used there. If I directly need the radius of the circle, that will also be a, what is that? Radius is a double, public double get radius. So now this kind of looks like this. It's a bit more verbose, but way easier to use for me, and I can make this separate, so I like that. Now, if I imagine where these points are for my corridor zones, I can easily see which vertex I need. So this would be, this goes from the lower right, that one. I messed it up, so I don't have the name anymore. From the lower right point, get x, etc. And then it goes to lower. Easy peasy. Now I'm nicely adding all these methods in, but when I'm going to separate these classes, I of course need to paste in the instance of of whatever that is going to be called. Oh my god. How I do that right away instead of waiting, because now I've decided that I will do it like that. So I revived the class TileShape, which I'm very proud of. At first I took out all my classes and hierarchies, and now I'm putting them back in as fast, but not in hierarchies. And because everything in this class is supposed to be static. Didn't make the shape static, by the way. They can be static as well, as far as I know. I can just create a new instance for it here, and in a later unit class, I can as well create an instance, because what I understand now, let's put this one next to the other one. They stay the same for all instances of that class. So I can just, when creating an object, I can just have multiple instances of that thing, which is great. Very easy to use. So then now I have to post board shape to all my fine thingies. Yeah, it's working as intended. So I'm gonna pass all these instances in. So it's gonna be way more efficient and stuff like that. Yeah. No, it's gonna be a whole lot of stuff. Okay, let's kill this one. I don't want to see it anymore, the old one. I'm not even going to keep it in a museum. Well, this isn't the hardest work of it all, just pasting that in. Oh, I'm already pasting that in way beyond where it should be. The static magic Base Hexagon from that should be accessed in a static way. Yes, of course. I cannot do something like that. So after getting all these beautiful thingies, I'm gonna return the entire shapes as well. So like that. Two methods that return the entire shape, like so. I like it, I like it, I like it. Should be access. Why? No. Oh, I probably shouldn't have declared them static, because, yeah, I'm of course trying to wrap my hand around this stuff. Yeah, no excuses, you're just a retard. But these points are all static, and this radius as well. So everything that changes on that level will also change these methods. So I don't need, and on top of that, they're public access. So no, this was overkill. I think, huh? I thought I was really smart again, but I think that was just a bit too much. So let's continue pasting that in willy-nilly. Base circle, right? Okay, so this now takes one circle from the other one, and the other circles are here. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Shouldn't I put the... No. Those are derived. I keep it like that. So, the center point hexagon, that's good. Is hexagon. Oh, here it's funny. Now, I had this stuff in those getters. I had them in shape config. So now I have the same kind of thing, but exactly the same thing, but in board shape. Get center point hexagon. What did I call that? Okay, that one I don't create because I do it here. I don't need all this stuff because that's a derived one as well. Do I need that? Wondering if I need this center point hexagon in the in the general class because it's in the board shape, because it's maybe reused for calculations, but then again I can really quickly find it. But yes, I would want that for units instead of redefining it. Do I? That's just very little work. Huh? Let's wait until let's stop engineering and try to see if I can always change that very easily if needs be. Just move it around and up. So that is my zone. And then this is then the base corridor zone south. Yeah, that is the whole thing. And then I want the cutouts. Just the zone south. Oh, I don't remember what the circle 1 was. Yeah, yeah, of course I do. That is the base circle. Oh, I didn't have board shape in there anymore. Like that. And then circle 2, that's easy. That would be the right one. That is now called circle east. And it's without base, just called circle east. So stuff like that. I've run through this. So I'm at the texture squares. I looked it up a little bit. But what I understand from my measurements here is that I have used pixel sizes maybe to fine-tune it, but it kind of seems to just be the bounce of the shape, in fact. So I'm gonna try a little thing. Public get bounce, get bounce. Get size. Java 2S. No. Yeah, that returns a rectangle. I'm gonna try to do this relative to other stuff as well instead of playing with pixels. Get corridor bounds. No, let's get bounds corridor. Naming conventions. Why is there 0? I'm trying to do something with that. Oh, I do see here that you have more things when I do get bounds. It is a rectangle, but you have get center, of course. You have get height, max, min, whatever, width, outcode, out left, out clone, contains, create intersection, create union equals, get frame, path iterator already saw, is empty, to string. Oh, path to string, that's what I use in the video editor, that's funny. Path to string and string to path. Oh, string to path and then path to string. No, to selection. Selection to path to selection and no, I take a string and do that to path and then do I select from path. Funny things. Recognize that. Notify, set frame, you have a whole lot of stuff there. But anyway, not what especially doesn't change my ideas about what I've created now. W is get bounds, then get. Oh, well, I can use it directly on the what is it called? I can use it directly in the texture square thing. I was thinking so I can create some local variables with that. But yeah, get bounds. But I can use this directly because it gives get height, get width. Yeah, it actually gives me the height and the width. So if effectively, what did I do wrong here? That's the point. If effectively the texture square thingy, the texture anchor is just the bounding box for that shape, so that it has all the shape in there, then this is exactly what I need. In fact, that is not made for it. Why is it? Oh, I'm missing a return. Return. Oh, and also I need, of course, public rectangle. No, I'm doing stuff. No. I was thinking I need to initialize a new something there, but I don't need a new something there. I just need a return new rectangle 2D point double. What? Huge amount of arguments. Oh yeah, played around with that in the beginning. No, I don't need a point, please. X, Y, W, and H. Like so. Get bounds corridor. So I can try to try if this works for try in the place of texture square. That would be amazing. Then I have no need for fiddling with those things. I think I did try to get estimates of the bounding box for I have to rename it to test it. Yeah, I think I did that for the I don't know what I was saying. I'm so tired. Stop complaining, guys. So I can test that. I think, what did I break? Shape convert can go all away. This still needs to go to the render class. And I also don't know why I had some weird ass board height thing. I can just tell them two values, I guess, relative to something one day. And oh yeah, what I do need to create now is my transform class. Which, so my board shape get access to my TileShape get access to the board shapes, Then didn't I create a unit list, unit model? Unit is the shape, right? Unit model. Now that's for something else. Didn't I create a unit? I'm I'm losing track of all the time. Unit model. That is all this good stuff, good shizzle. Did I destroy my piece class? No. But that's something different. I thought I already. Apparently I didn't. Apparently I thought I've already copied this small big piece, tough piece to Resumé. I thought I already pasted that around. Tile type, TileShape, unit model. That really has nothing to do with this, whereas you. Oh, let's rule around. Oh, here it is. I had something called PieceShape. So that's gonna be destroyed. I like that. Not destroyed. Don't be so mean. This will be UnitShape, not even whatever. Finish it because has compilation spell errors. I don't care. I'll find out later. UnitShape, board shape. I should call board unit and board whatever. Remember. And then I will have building shape. Yeah, I will separate those nice and clean. And that's all fun and games, but now I want to go into my shape config. And that is gonna have a different name as well. That is gonna be called, where is shape called? That's gonna be called transform, because I will have multiple transform. Do I take the whole name? Row call, transform shapes for board. I don't want a name of a mile long. Let's think about it. Oh, I forgot to make a get radius x circle. And here I need it now in my transform class. Here in this formula, which I think basically stays the same because side is equal to the radius we had concluded. At least I did. Times the row minus, that's the x, minus we're talking about the x minus, yeah, the half of the side there. I think it's alright, but I'm checking it. See, it moves over half a hexagon. Talking about the x here. On the next to the right, it moves over. Let's say that the x changes, but not the y. Oh yeah, it takes the whole radius. Talking about the x. Yeah, not necessarily need to understand it all over again, but Where's the math? Where's the math? Oh yeah, this is it about hex row minus min. Let's see if I can find that out myself again. Oh yeah, that is it. For every increase in x in row, it moves one side. Oh, now I of course I threw away my my weirdy thingies. Long leg. I had long leg, short leg, and side. Oh yeah, no, I'm mistaken. Side was side for me wasn't the side. Side. I wrote it down. I'm a moron. Side was long leg. That's why I'm confused. So for every increase in x, it moves to one width to the right. That is this. That's the x plus. This should be the white times the row. No, times the column. Oh, that's kind of. This is going to be interesting again. Yeah, no, so I was mistaken. Side was the width. So I need to move over 2 times the radius times the row. And do I get to something else actually to make it more? No, I just get radius, which is more than enough. And then, oh, I might need other measurements from there, but they can all be expressed in the radius. That's funny. When I was making this, I thought it was more complicated. So, and the long leg is just like I wrote down there, that's 3/4 of the height. Because it's pointy, my pointy is different, but that would actually be the width. No, I'm confusing it again. The side was the width, and the long leg would be 3/4 of that. That's different again than that. So that would be radius. That would be radius times 2 for the width. What did I say? 3/4 of the height, yeah. And the height is 2 times radius. And the width isn't 2 times radius. That I need to keep that in mind. The height is 2 times radius, but the width isn't. I hope I did that right. I did something with it in TileShape. Get radius, that's easy. No, I don't think I did anything weird with that. Let me figure this out. So if my calculation is correct, it will be 1.5 times that times 1.5, like so. So now I'm I implemented everything, and the transform class, with a bit of help of ChatGPT, now looks like I don't even need that one. Looks like this, very, just one method that does the row column thingy as well as then transforms a potential shape. And yeah, I took some stuff out of cleaned up the board where I had those methods to transform them in here, all the experiments. So now I'm trying to go to implement it in the render class and ask the ChatGPT for help, of course, to give me some a little hint, because I don't really. Oh, okay, there's a local list. I didn't even look at that. Array list, shapes. Okay, so that's cool. So it's original shape. What is it put in the array list? Oh no, I'm stupid. No, that's just it's assuming it's creating an example of an array where the shapes would be, because it hasn't got my context anymore of all my things. So it just says the transform instance. This thing is totally unreadable. Do need the board here and transform, which is a new transform instance. What? Is that the name? Oh yeah, damn it. Hello name. Array to screen. That is actually the name. Oh, and then it initializes with 0, 0. Yeah, it's interesting. If I don't ask this, might find a solution, but let's not waste any more time as necessary, as I'm already wasting. So then we get the original shape. Get. Okay, yeah, I was thinking it did something fancy, but no, in fact, we just get the shape. Why is it complaining that it's not good? Because I forgot the new word. So in fact, yeah, I was like, oh, it's doing something fancy here, but it's just to find the shape. Method to calculate the index in the list from the row and column. No. So we get our culture tile. I'm kind of curious if this works. I know the color won't work because I didn't. If I'm still having experience with it, but even if it gives a result and doesn't give 100 errors, I will be really happy because I didn't try anything out in a long time. So shape. Let's see how it's. I have a hard time translating his writing to something that I can transformed. Then transform is transform point. That's the instance. Transform shape. Yes. Row, column, original shape. Yes. Why does he do that? Row, column, original shape. I don't want get bounds. Why? Transform shape is my own method. Get culture tile. That. Oh yeah, of course. Then that needs to return culture tile point get tile shape. That is the shape that I want to transform. And why are you pissing me off with something? That is all correct. Import shape, that's all? Why don't I have shape in drawCanvas? What horror is that? So there's something else not good? That must be a punctuation. Shape, transformed shape. Shape, transformed shape. Shape original. Transform array. Why is it having trouble with that? Private shape, transformed shape. Yeah, I like putting all my variables outside of the code, and ChatGPT I think is way more pro of initializing them right here where you need them. It's kind of what I do is kind of this transform point row column culture tile is get culture tile, so that's an instance of my culture tile. Then I tell it to get the shape. Why isn't it? What did I do wrong? Yeah, here transformed draw transformed shape. Yeah, that's what I got. But when I save it, there's something. Oh, here's something the matter. Transformed shape. Why doesn't it highlight it then? No, it's transform shape. That's the method. Why is it complaining? What the F is wrong? Transform array to screen. Transform array to screen. It's my transform shape. What the F? Okay, probably just being obtuse. Is undefined for the type. Shape, no. Int local. Yeah, like here, I don't need those outside. Go away. Int. No, it's int. It is definitely defined. Yeah, I can do this one here. This is pretty. I can slowly pick up that habit if I. Yeah, no, don't mix it a lot. So I may. Oh, there was some error elsewhere that wasn't right. So let's hit play for the first time in I don't know how long. Ooh. It does draw something nice over there, but it's not very much. Okay. So that's funny. It does a thing. Doesn't give all kinds of errors. Doesn't draw shapes though. Very interesting. Oh, I have a very interesting idea. Maybe it is doing it all right, but I forgot to do one little thing. Let's just change that to, what was it? It was about 40 or something. Aha! What about that? What about that? I had it set to one pixel. I don't remember what my. Oh yeah, it was something like it was like 100 or something. By the way, it doesn't seem to be. But that is probably my the texture. That's normal that it doesn't work, and the corridors also. But I already can see that it's not the thingy. But I'm very happy that it actually works. I'm like so stoked. All that stuff that I reworked, it actually works now. So you go away. Let's switch on the corridor tiles as well. transformed shape, copy. Do I need a other one? It does draw the two at the same time, huh? Oh, that's right here. Int row, board, red row, what? That was my old experiment. So that should be right here. Not this nil. What not this nil? I put it right there. Corridor tile is like so. There. Get corridor tile to culture tile. No, that's the other way around, huh? Culture tile is, yeah, I need X. It needs to be below here. And then it is a corridor tile, of course. So the rest of, I'm really happy the rest of my code, in fact, that I changed 100 times last evening, last night, last all day, day before, it all stands, it all fits into here. I just did change a bit of the references and the thingies and the, oh no, I don't want it here, I want it there, the instantiation, and no, I'm too there. No, I don't want the rest. Like so. Oh, I'm so nervous. Let's see, this and this. And then get image, get it. This is bugging because, oh yeah, I had that all separated, so things like that, I had that all directly on board shape, texture, square, how is that returned? Get texture square. That's just now a nice little method. Get texture square. And I'm doing an experiment with the texture square, see if that whole story with the bounce, with the anchor here, with the texture anchor. So by the way, this will need to be the same here. Just repeat it 2 times. What? No. Z. Z. What did I do? God damn it. Get texture square. Copy. Don't be a shit. V. My big fingers are messing it up probably. Look at that. It's a work of art. And not really sure what's going on. Kind of impossible to see actually, but it does draw the corridors. I think I made an error, at least one, more than one, but at least in the, for starters, in the transformation from row, from the row and the columns. That's for pretty sure. But yeah, and the rest I cannot see. It's such a mess. Probably, but it's just like where I did things wrong. I'm amazed that it all comes together. It works. My transformation class is just super cute. I can take out that stuff I don't use right away because before it confuses me. This is just super cute. Board shape. That's now the base class. It's super clean. Oh, I need to move these comments to here. I don't really need them, but I want to clean it up. X. No, I did a do. This one was up there. Oh, before I capable of throwing it all away. then lower left, then what? Did I change the order or something? What? God damn it. Okay, I did something really bizarre. In all my excitement, I actually mixed up the things. I wanted to go from lower left, then up clockwise, etc., which I did. But then I gave them the wrong name, in fact, because I copied that stuff from the other one. And then I repeated that here. Oh, I'm such a retard. That's why my whole thing is mangled up. I need a break. Oh my god, that's why I changed the clockwise and counterclockwise. So luckily I was doing this. Otherwise it would be long. I was moving these things here in my comments. I put them in the right place: lower left, upper, upper. But then when I copied this little bundle of variables from the other class, I didn't change the order. So what's behind them is the right order, but then I use them. I use them in the same order further, at least in the base hexagon. For the other ones, no, of course they're totally mixed up. I need a break. So this was actually pretty funny, I must admit. So let's change all this up or lower. What did I do? Okay, whatever. I'm going to change this back up. And I did this to save some time, just copied it by laziness. I copied a little piece of old stuff. Oh la 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 la. Upper right. Next is lower right. And then hope that I don't think, because elsewhere I think I took the right vertices, but they were just defined wrong, if you know what I mean. So, and the last one, lower right and lower. Yeah, that's right. Then it goes back to lower left. And I do want to change my hexagon back, also in clockwise order. I did this, for some reason I forgot that I was doing. I just recopied that. This won't make a difference, I think. This one is upper. That I don't mess it up again. Because now I have that in my head and I don't know if I did anything else. Don't know if this is necessary what I'm doing. Yeah, because it's kind of important, the order of drawing things with a hexagon. And then the last one is lower. Oh, here in my getters, it is, I did it correctly. Board, why am I in board? TileShape is what I'm looking for. So, I think, yeah, in the other classes I picked specific vertices, so I don't think that is any, that makes any difference. Let's try it out. No, doesn't want to. I thought that was the problem. Lower left, upper right, lower Yeah, I think I did the calculations with my notations here, right? 3/4 of that. Yes. Upper right is half of height, is a half. Half of height I need, half of height. Upper right. I'm gonna run this through if there's no other stupidities. I might also need to add in the decimal points everywhere. I didn't do that. Square root of 3 doesn't need it, I think. This could give bizarre results as well, as I understood it. Oh, I see another error. In my texture square corridor, I put the culture in there. That can be problematic as well. Let's see what that does before I change up. I was going to redo the culture one, and by copying it, I saw that if my brain worked, it would be great. Yes, that looks better already. At least it seems to be on a hexagon now. And I do have a transformation problem, that's for sure. I think this kind of works, but not exactly. But I'll just, oh, instead of copying the whole thing in once, get bounds. Get Y. And get bounds. And then get width. Oh, and of course, I'm not transforming the copy, not transforming the texture square, of course. So if not is no, paint. Cut it down, get texture square. Can I transform multiple shapes one after the other? So I'm doubting if I can use that. Yes, you can apply to multiple shapes one after the other. Whoop on your. Oh yeah. I needs to have a transformed shape. Oh, this is a good reason to not do this here and do this close by, because yeah, that was I was like, and then the variable will be written over. So transformed shape. Tile. Then instantiate it right like so. Hard to type shape, right? Oh. Shape. Same story. Copy. Paste. Oh, I did something wrong there. Texture square. Text. SQ. stick. Yeah, we don't care. It's a whole mouthful, but of course I also have hit that one on the get texture square. Where are you? Like so. And then let's draw outline. That then will be tile. That will be tile as well. Where do we paint, culture tile. That is here. Culture tile texture square. This will be transformed texture square. I couldn't come up with anything shorter. Transform texture square. That is a oh, just missing the word shape. Wondering if I would keep it, but why doesn't it want to eat that? Oh, because that is not a shape. Rectangle 2D is that, and it cannot find it. Oh, poor thing. And apparently, get texture square. Oh, where is it? My effing transform thing doesn't take a rectangle object. How does that work? Add cast to that, and then it works. Ooh. What does it mean to add cast to a declaration? I don't really get what that does. Oh, just converting one type into another. Oh. Okay, yeah. Then it would be wiser. No. Texture paint wants a rectangle. This isn't going to work. A rectangle is a shape, but him wants a maybe, yeah, shape. It can be, yeah, it can be cast. That means that the result here is retransformed into. Let's see if it works. Right, get highlighted, and there's the need the transform shape tile. Very shape tile. Oh, okay. Shape, and then I need D. Okay, so this doesn't work. Copy. Just ask ChatGPT how to, if there's any nice thingies. Otherwise, I can double the transform thingy for texture square. No biggie, but now I have that thing, but let's see what it has to say. Oh yeah, it runs into problems, like it said. Blah blah. No, yeah, it's not handy. No. Change your transform shape method to take a rectangle. One option would be to create a new rectangle from the shape returned by transform shape. You could create a single texture pane using the original untransformed texture square, and then use the set transform to apply the blah blah blah. Well, yeah, that's what? Save the current. Get transform. Just get transform. Yeah, no, the solution. I will just create another method for it. Copy. It doesn't seem very complicated. I'll probably have to do that other transform rectangle, for instance. And this takes a rectangle. Is it tool G? Rectangle 2D, I guess. Of type rectangle. Oh wait, the problem is that it doesn't have the interface. What is it called? The import. So get radius hex circle. I'm having an error in this thing. Oh, before I before I translated it, before better maybe I had to do to fix it. Rectangle 2D. Why are you complaining? Is it still a shape? Or am I still doing something with a shape? New board shape. Get radius hex circle. That's just a number. Oh, and create transformed shape. Wow, this is stuff. Flow, transform. Wow. ChatGPT, help. Why is there an R in there? Oh, because I didn't copy the whole thing. Like so. Can I make it so that this returns a rectangle? Oh, it says if you're sure that your input is rectangle, you can do, okay, so I just add the cast here then. Yes, I'm sure. Rectangle 2D. Okay. And then in drawCanvas, I take that away from you. Transform. Let me do it like that. Transform rectangle. Like so. Get bounce. No. filter tile point. Get texture square. That's what I want. Get texture not as null. That doesn't change. Transform texture. Need to take that out and then transform rectangle like so. Transformed. This should eat it like candy. It doesn't. Expecting path to the double. It doesn't want to. It's not happy. After stopping the recording yesterday, I continued on a bit with trying to align my board and a little part. Yes, I continued a bit with messing around with those texture thingies. Like I cannot transform it in my transform shape method because it's not a shape, it's rectangle. So saying that now I can probably find another kind of transform thing that transforms a rectangle. I write that down. Yeah, there probably are other Java functionalities to transform something else than a shape. This affine transform is for shape specifically, and not for shape implementations like rectangle and other concrete classes. But of course, I should be able to get affine transform add get translate instance. Because I'm doing pretty straightforward math, I should be able to. I can just apply this thing to. I don't even know why I need the way I do it. Why I need affine transform here actually. Oh yeah, because this takes the whole shape, of course. It doesn't only change the x and the y. It changed the whole shape that is attached to those x and y's and keeps the same things. But like a rectangle is a very simple shape, so I would have to translate that, and then also its width and its height. So probably is a very easy method for that. And like if I want to translate something like a point that only has x and a y, so that would be just repeating that. So I noted that down. That should be trivial after all. So having said that, that's the solution I found for now is to create ChatGPT proposed it at some point, and I was but after a lot of frustration, I changed it to I just create the shape, the rectangle here in the drawCanvas, which according to ChatGPT, is kind of makes sense because it's in the render class, and you in all kinds of cases. So for now, I put the so for now I create the rectangle here in which is done to repeat. It's the texture anchor, which in fact I now understood while jiggery pokering around with it. This is the anchor. It's just the surface on which you put the texture. In fact, calling it an anchor is a bit weird. It's just you define the place and the shape, and something that's always a good thing with all the time what I'm doing, having to revisit all my code and not understanding what's going on. That is that I have to go in all those things and see how it works. And what this actually does, the x and the y is confusing for me. It takes the upper left corner of that triangle of that rectangle that you define, and from there the height and the width. And it's in line with how you draw. You draw from the upper left corner of the screen, and then in a Z fashion. So yeah, this is defined as well. There was another thing that does the same logic. Oh yeah, when I do this transform formula, etc., you have to think from x to the right is plus, and down is plus, but up and to the left is minus. It's a little when you're used to normal XY axis, it's at least the Y axis is inverse. Normally that is up, so that's kind of confusing sometimes. The X is the same, but yeah. So I got that to work kind of, and then I did some cheating here to kind of align that. In the culture tile, that's kind of okay, but in the corridor tile, I added some here, some plus this plus that, some pixels to align it a bit, because yeah, I that is why I had in where did I do that? In TileShape, that should be now. So this isn't used anymore, and I had like 80, 83 here. I was like, what is that about? But that's actually the exact size in pixels of my texture image, and that's why I use those sizes, and I can show it. It's a very sad kind of image. I can show it. I don't know if that is interesting for anybody, but if ever somebody watches this that's also learning to code and etc., this kind of thing might be interesting. Yeah, which is kind of the case with all that I'm doing. And yeah, this is the actual texture image that I use. That was it's just a placeholder that I created way back, and it's actually, like I said, 80 by 83 pixels. And then I left, and when I made it, now when I made this, I didn't know how to use the GIMP at all, the graphical editor software I use now for my thumbnails. So now I know my way around it a bit, but then I didn't know a thing. So apparently what is it? I succeeded in creating an hexagon in there, and then put on some lazy ass graphics. That's just me drawing pixels with a mouse, and apparently I did it in a very low resolution. Yeah, because it's super small. But then I left this white space around it. So when I align this to the texture square, which, like I said, it's just it when I make it the exact same size. When you make it bigger or smaller, it just zooms, or what is it called? It just expands, or what is the word for make smaller the image. So, but when I put the left upper corner, when I just align that with with the texture rectangle, yeah, I will have this, and then it's about if I make it that it's corresponding to the hexagon. Yeah, you will see this white space around it, of course. So yeah, I had to do some. So I'm now I know my way around the GIMP a bit. I can. Yeah, that was on purpose. The GIMP. Yeah, I think I'm funny. I can make this way better and higher resolution, etc., and make it fit the screen. And yeah, in fact, the funny thing is that that's maybe why I had trouble getting this right, is that the hexagon, the shape enclosing hexagon, isn't exactly a square, because of the pointy thingy uppy. It's a circle that. Oh, I could make it in a circle. No, then it would be hard to align to a square. Yeah, no, that would be a solution when I make it, to create a circle, put a hexagon in there, and then make it. Then you make a square around that circle, then you can align it right. But then, yeah. Let me think. No, then I should make a square. inside the circle. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Let's get board games with all his fancy stuff. Why is the side responding weirdly? Oh, it's such huge. Here I was inner circle. Oh yeah, then I might want to take the inner circle and draw a square around it. Anyway, that's all very fun and games, but let me see where I was. Oh, why is the others like here? So that's why I smuggled a bit. Why I did some ugly stuff in there to make it fit. drawCanvas. But yeah, the result is there. I just have to revisit that, do the drawings better, etc. That's a detail. Anyway, I have to go into all the drawing stuff, etc. But okay, and at least I found out how all that works while doing so. So for now, the square in the tiles doesn't do anything anymore. I just create an instantiate a rec. Oh god damn it! Sometimes. Right, and yeah. Next, I was messing around with the alignment because everything was misaligned. First, I draw it. I think I showed it. It was all one pixel big still, so I had to increase the size. Then I played around a bit with the proportion from the circle to the grid hexagon, etc. And to get it aligned correctly was a bit of a thing, because this formula that takes for every row and every column does something with the actual sizes of the hexagon. Because I was using another system, I was using, like I said, a triangle inside the hexagon, which helps you do the math as well. And then yeah, I don't really remember why I came onto that. The one advantage may be that way you use the radius and the root of 3 one time to calculate those measurements. From in my thing, the side was like and you have a triangle in there with a short side and a long side and a diagonal. And for my the short side was half the width, and the long side is like 3 what is it, 3/4, 3/4 of the height, and then the diagonal is equal to the width. Do I say that correctly? Yeah, in fact, yeah. So that's 2 times. If I said correctly, that would be 2 times the short side. And then in your later formula, you don't need to use the root of 3 all the time. And the radius, you use the radius and root of 3 one time to get those those measurements. But anyway, because I was using that in my formula, you had side and etc. And so, and I had to, when I created it, I made myself understand exactly what this does. And for every column it is that, but then for the next effort, like you in one row, for every column, it does, the x stays the same, but the y stays the same, but the x changes for every column in the row. And then when you go one down, yeah, the y changes, and then the x changes again, and that's in here. But yeah, I was using, like I said, I was using something that was called the side, what would be the half of the width, and you need the width to know where the next hexagon is going to be, and also the height to know how much it has to go down. And then because there are hexagons, you have an offset. It has to go like half, exactly half a hexagon down on the next row, and so, and also half a hexagon to the side, to the left or the right, because they're not like when you have rectangle tiles. It's way more simple. So, but I have, in fact, the difference isn't that big, except that I had to, because now I use the radius, and then the width is defined with the radius in combination with the root of 3. The height is just the radius. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not sure why I came onto that other measurement system. Maybe that seemed simpler for me then. And in this kind of formula, it seems a bit more simple. But when in BoardShape, when I think that the math that I'm doing now, where you use the radius, is actually much more comprehensible, less abstracted away. So to say. So, but in the end, with a little help of ChatGPT and this the website from Redblock Games again, he gives these examples here how that all works and why it works like that. It's great. Like I said, he's apparently been collecting everything about hexagonal grids since 20 years. So that's really, whenever you have to do something with hex grids, go onto his site and you can find the most crazy things. It's like I already said, a work of art and a huge source of knowledge. It's beautiful. It's really, really useful. So that I got all that to work. And while being on the radius here, okay, so yeah, next thing is that I got that all to work, so I was happy. And it kind of works. I'll show it. So the hexagon tiles are still a bit misaligned. You see a bit of white space here, so I can jiggly poke it. When I do it to the left a bit, that means it needs a bit more minus. Where's the text, the corridor? Here's the corridor. So X needs a bit more minus. It's now on minus 11. Let's give it minus 12. It's of course not the way I want to do it at all in the end. So it went a bit, and now I see a bit of white space here. So it should go a little bit down. So I know I did the Y. Yeah, see, I needed to do the X. No, I did the X. I'm not that stupid. So now what I say, I need to get a bit down, and Y gets minus something, so it should be a little bit less of a minus. So yeah, that stuff can pretty much mess with my head. Like so, it's a little bit less white space. But anyway, when I create a texture the way it's supposed to be, then I won't have that problem anymore for a nice alignment. Oh yeah, that was it. And while doing all this, while I was testing it and drawing my board, etc., at a certain point I noticed, I had some weird things because it was a certain rows and columns I wasn't initializing corridor tiles, and then I had one here. I put it back in, didn't I? No, I didn't put back in grid hexagon. I tell it to not do the. Let's put it back on the most left column and the lower row. Row. I tell it to not instantiate the culture tiles, to have it enclosed by my corridors, right? So I had that thing. I was and when I get all kind of weird results, so it looked really crooked, my board. So then I took out those formulas to do that, etc. And by poking around with it, I noticed that I did something funny, or yeah, that broke my brain also a bit, as usual. When I changed board width and board height, it was inverse. So I was thinking, oh, maybe it's something in the formula here, etc. But in the end, I realized that I worked with the W and H everywhere for the width and the height, and the width corresponds when in my loops, in my for loops, the width corresponds to the columns, to the board width, and the H to the board height. But when assigning rows and columns instead of W and H, I inversed them. I assigned a row to W and a column to the H. But in fact, when you go through the board width, of course, again, I closed it. Why do I do that all the time? When you go through from left to right through the width, it's the column that changes every time, and when you go down, it's the row that changes. So I had inversed that. I was looking all over that, but it was just a question that I had assigned. I should assign the W to the column and the H to the row. So yeah, and then yeah, it was. And also when I changed my formulas, when I didn't want to have a tile, it had the inverse result. So I had like holes in the upper and right side of the board. I was like, why is it not aligned, etc., etc. But it was because I inversed that, and then I was telling it not to do a tile over there, but so it took the wrong side of the board to not instantiate the tiles, and that took me quite a bit also to find that out. So now I assigned the rows and the columns to the right, W and H. And then, yeah, I got it to work like that. I was like, okay, let's see. It was getting late, but anyway, I was like, let's see. Let's think about how. I was like, I will have a little look at the mouse input and see how I could get that to work. The mouse over, etc. I didn't even mean to go and finish that up, but and I talked a bit with ChatGPT about that. Asked it like, does it see a solution? And it started to talk to me about doing the inverse transformation from screen to array, and I was like, maybe not. It already talked about it, so I knew of the existence of that, and I was like, no, why can't I just, because I retrieve the tiles here anyway in a for loop, in my I iterate through the literally through the board. It's not even iterating through the rendered board. I literally iterate through the actual board. So yeah, I'm like, no, that's just weird. I can just apply the transform shape as well, because I'm retrieving a culture tile here and I'm checking if there's my cursor is in there, and because I have transformed them to render them. Yeah, I can also just transform them to check for the cursor tile. And ChatGPT thought it was a bad idea because every time I do this, I create a transformed tile object. I create, firstly here, I added a new transform class and or instance here, and then apparently I have still a little bit of a hard time understanding that, but every time I like here, I create a shape with that class, the method in that class, then every time you create a new object. Yeah, that's apparently how it works. So yeah, ChatGPT was telling me that that is not a very efficient way of doing that, because I create shapes every time I do this for loop, and the same in render, in the render class. But anyway, it worked without a hitch. I just put it in here instead of retrieving the shape directly. I just put it through the transform and then hub. So yeah, I know of the existence of ways to invert that math that I have here to do this, but yeah, right. I don't see why I need it. By the way, it did say, yeah, maybe you can avoid it being that expensive by what is it called? Saving the created object in like an arrow, so it's set on tile or something. But no, of course not. I don't want the tile to hold the transformed shape. That's not the contrary what I want. I want the tile has nothing to do, and the shape on there with the whole transformation that was being applied to it. On top of that, imagine that I do something where I zoom or something, and every time for every zoom it needs to recalculate the transformed object, that the zoom would change the radius, so it would have to save stuff to the tile all the time. But I thought, yeah, I can just in the transform shape, I can just here save the I don't do it now, but I can do this because this is shape. It returns a shape already, so I can just save that shape here, and then if I'm correct, then I can just give access to that or get access to that from the other. Oh, but then again, then I should. Well, that would be logical. I was like, I can then just access it for that, but from the transform, but then it will to find that specific instance, because I created transform shape instance as well every time I create one of these transformed shapes. So I should be able to find the right one, but that means that I would have to iterate through the. Oh yeah, right. Yeah. And this, then I would need to save them here in. Oh, that's why it's logic to save it to the tile. Yeah, because otherwise I should save it in drawCanvas. I need to find a way from the other. Mouse input is now. Right. Mouse input is now going through the board, and I should then go through transform the. Oh yeah. Oh, then I think then it would be interesting to actually fill the whole array with, when I draw the tiles, with all the transformed tiles somewhere, and save the whole array, like a copy of the board array, but with the whole with all the transformed tiles in there. That would be interesting. That would be more respecting a few design principles, I guess. Then I just have to find a logical place to put that, maybe in the render class, because that class needs them all the time. Not going back to the tile, that would be weird. I don't need them to have knowledge of their transformed shapes at all. Oh, that would be interesting. And then from the I'm clicking the wrong one all the time. Then in the mouse handler, I don't have to go and iterate through the board. But then again, when I want to click a specific tile, I need to, and for instance, when I want to place a unit on there, I want to give information to the system. For instance, if it was only that I set it to highlighted, so I do need access to the actual tile, but yeah, that will just correspond to its. I can just copy the actual. I can just save their W. I have to anyway. I can just save their array position and duplicate it in that transformed array, and then I will just have. It will be. Oh, I always forget the word. Oh yeah, it will. Then it will be trivial to find the correct tile in its actual. Yeah, because then I will have an array of shapes only, but through that shape with its row and column arguments, I can just really easily find That would add a little layer of abstraction. That's fun. I will note that, write that down. Because if I don't do that, I will have to have some kind of variable in the drawCanvas, but the drawCanvas doesn't. I only have local variables that save it, that get a value while iterating through the for loop. So that's no use. Otherwise, I'm gonna create weird things again. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, that might actually be a really great idea, and also performance-wise, and it wouldn't be too weird that it would be on the render class, so that it has its transformed shaped area, and it can just directly draw from there instead of going to look for. I can even. Oh, that's even more fun. Yeah, the funny thing is, the more I get structures in my code that, for me at least, help better understand what's going on, the more I see other structures that are kind of obvious. But I was saying, I can then, when I create an array of shapes here, I can even just tell the render class to go into that array of shapes. And no, that's what I'm doing, because my board class is an array of shapes. But now it has to look it up all the time. Yeah, but it also has to look up like some booleans, some things, and another shape. Yeah, there's the next problem, the texture thing shape, for example. But that doesn't really matter. But I think, as far as I know, array data structures are pretty efficient. Let's say I create at least an array here with transformed shapes, and then whenever I apply transformations to that, like, for example, like, imagine that I want to zoom on the board, or even what is it called, change the orientation, the way you look at it. There are all kinds of things in the Java elaborated film transformation functionality thingies that can pretty easily do that. But then I could save those in a render class, or in other, if that's not logical, some other place. But I think it's quite logical to have them there. And then every time it renders the board, because that happens a lot, it does that all the time, over and over. Every time something changes, it redraws this whole thing. Then it will just only have to read in the shape array, or multiple if I need multiple shapes. I think, yeah, you can only put one object in there. Otherwise, I'm just recreating the whole board thing. And then, but that would be, instead of putting those transform shapes back to the tiles and reading it from there, that could also be some logic. But I don't feel that, especially now that I have tried to take out all the measurements from the shapes, even all the measurements that get transformed, at least. Except I have one in there. I want to change that. When I was making it, I said that I don't like that I was putting back radius in there. But I was like, yeah, but I need it here and here and here. But it's also trivial to take that out now, put it in another class. Like I said here with the transform, I have the X and Y origin. That's not supposed to be there either. That is something that, and ChatGPT told me that way back for when I was looking for, before I decided to restructure all my shape definition thingies. Like in some kind of config graphical thingies, something diddly, thingy diddly. And so, but because imagine I'm zooming, then the radius here changes all the time. And I can just make a reference in this class to those things, so that I don't, so that I apply the transformation to this whole thing, and not change the value of a field in here, because that's actually what I don't really like. When I was creating it, I already said it, that I was like repeating kind of what I already had with this, except that now those everything that uses directly the radius values, I put it back here in here. Also the circles, because for I did something weird with that where I thought that the oh yeah, that was something else I ran into. These circles are all ellipses are also defined. I was like, oh, the XY center point for some reason. So I put the X and Y to the vertices of my hexagon, but then they are completely not aligned. What they need is the vertices, but minus the radio, minus its radius. So I don't know if you understand it, but then it will center itself automatically. The radius from a circle is half its width. So if you take some point and minus its radius, it will center itself on that point that you subtract the radius from, if you know what I mean. It's sometimes hard to wrap your head around, but so then I needed the radius in these ones as well, so I decided to put them back with the other circle in the base shape class. So yeah, all that kind of messing around, that wasn't very I didn't record it. It was more me poking around and finding stuff out. But it did make some things clear in the whole process. So yeah, like I said, I don't know why I'm explaining all this, but yeah, if ever anyone watches this that is trying to learn and understand these kinds of things, that might be interesting as well. So why the hell not? And I do like, yeah, that's a bit the idea of my whole series. So and I also do like to have like a journal, whatever, myself, to see all the things that I go through. Even sometimes I was like, I changed all kinds of things. I was like, and I just delete my old stuff. I was like, how did I have it? Instead of working with a Git branch or something, I do have it, but since I continued working on this, I didn't even use it yet. So very, very bad. Imagine if I lose all of it. Although now I could way more easily reinvent it. So now I'm back at the point before, when I realized that my whole structure wasn't going to work, and that I couldn't get my highlight to work the way it's supposed to be. And I realized that I was working with wrong instances, probably because only one tile would highlight, and it had something to do with the draw order, and etc. Now it works like I'm at the same point as then, but now it works, and I'm at the same point as before I started to redo all my shapes. And when I said, oh, I just have to put in the unit now. If you can see the console. Let's put my head out of the way once more. My head goes there. Yeah, now it's visible. Where's my board? But now with the transform thingy in there, I can, again, the mouse worked pretty easily as well. So now you can see in the console that it gives the correct, is this the one correct? 4, 1? Oh yeah, 0, of course, yeah. I was like, there's 5, again, Brainberg, that 5, 1, yeah. Because this is row 0, so always have to do it more. Doesn't always respond on my first click though, but yeah, for now, probably got something to do with the way all my stuff is made. And loopy. But that's worry for later. So now I'm back where I wanted to place my first unit, but that it, like I said, back in a spot where when I had to read about design patterns, because nothing worked how it's supposed to be. And also I'm back before I decided to, or tried to make my shape work for a unit. And it didn't work out. So, like I said, now I just have to put in my unit. That's all. And yeah, like along the way, I decided to not have my unit list on the tile and just have it separately, which is very much in line with before. I was like, I need a placeable unit array in the game loop, or at least access to it. Because before I placed it on a board, it has no board. So, but when and then I wanted to initialize a unit list on the board. I wanted to move it from one to the other. Now that I've decided that it doesn't have to be in the tile at all, and I will just assign the row and column coordinates to it. That problem goes away as well. And I'm thinking, yeah, that will now be instantiated on game loop. I probably, yeah, I don't see. I'm like thinking about a unit list class where I actually instantiate them instead of including them all in the game loop. So I think that has a reference so that I have one, because that also only can be one instance. I'm thinking one instance of unit list singular, and that I have different unit lists on there. So like the available units, the units on a corridor tile, units on a culture tile, because they will get different attributes for the coordinates, like because I have those stupid little zones of mine. So yeah, I think I already have a class, private array list units on tile. I already made, oh, and oh yeah, no, before I go into the lists, but that's what I need to do. While I was, well, everything broke down for my shapes was with the pieces, of course. So now that I have fixed all that, hopefully, tile position goes away right away. Oh, I don't want the piece list anymore. I started with my unit model. Okay, that's where I broke down the UnitShape class, because I wanted to try do something a bit like the terrain. That was what I was trying to do. And the UnitShape, yeah, that would be kind of similar to that I revived TileShape in the end. Oh, I have some little thingies left to do there. Not using it, those are for the corridor zones, not the references aren't right. Fix that. Just a very small thing to fix, these references. Put it on my to-do list. So let me see.